The master's function in Zen is to force nothingness into your experience, or in other words, to bring you to your own nothingness. The master decides and devises methods. When they become old and routine, he drops them, finds new methods, new ways. But for these 25 centuries, since Gautam Buddha gave without a single word a lotus flower to Mahakashyapa and told his congregation that what I could say, I have told you. What I cannot say, although I want, but simply it is not possible, I am transferring it to Mahakashyapa. That lotus flower was just a symbol. That unless you open up like a lotus flower in the early morning sun, when the dewdrops are shining like pearls on the lotus leaves, it is a silent transmission of the lamp. Nothing is said. Mahakashyapa came for the first time close to Buddha, took the lotus flower, touched his feet, went back and sat silently under his tree. Mahakashyapa is the first patriarch of Zen. So lineage of Zen, the family of Zen, is a branch, a very silent branch, they love Gautam Buddha because it was really originated in his disappearance, but he transferred it to Mahakashyapa, and now it was the responsibility of Mahakashyapa to go on finding people whom he can transfer. So since that moment, 25 centuries before, it has been transferred without any arbitrary means, without any language, from master to disciple, from one who has come home to one who is just wandering around but cannot find the way. The master functions as a friend. He holds your hand and takes you on the right path, helps you to open your eyes, helps you to be capable of transcending the mind. That's where your third eye opens. You start looking inwards. And once you are looking inwards, the master's work is finished. Now it is up to you. You can travel that small gap between your mind and no mind in a single moment of tremendous intensity and urgency, or you can travel slowly, hesitantly, stopping, being afraid that you are losing grip of your mind, you are losing grip of your individuality, that all boundaries are disappearing. What are you doing? You may think for a moment, this may bring a breakdown. You may not be able to come back to the mind again. And who knows what is going to happen ahead? Things are disappearing. If you pay too much attention on the things that are disappearing, you may stop out of fear. The Master goes on focusing your mind on things that are happening, not on things that are disappearing. He goes on forcing, look at the blissfulness. Look at the silence that is descending on you. Look at the peace. Look at the joy. Look at the ecstasy. He is continuously emphasizing to that which is happening, not to that which is going away, the anxiety, the despair, the angst, the anguish. He is not allowing you even to take note of them. What is disappearing is not worth keeping. Just go on looking what is appearing out of nothingness. So you gather courage. You become more daring. You know that nothing is going to be wrong. On every single inch movement, something greater is happening. And finally, as you enter to the very source of your being, the center of your being, the whole universe falls upon you. Just as Kabir said before he died, the whole ocean has fallen into the dewdrop. And once you have experienced this beatitude, this ecstasy, this divine drunkenness, who cares about individuality? Who cares about the self? What the self has given to you, except anxiety, except hell. And this nothingness is so pure. Without boundaries, for the first time you find the infinity, the eternity, and all the mysteries of existence are suddenly opening their doors to you. And they go on opening door after door. There is no end to this journey. It is an endless pilgrimage. You are always arriving and arriving and arriving, but you never arrive. But each moment you are going deeper into bliss, deeper into ecstasy, deeper into truth. But there is no full stop. The Zen Manifesto is in absolute need, because all old religions are falling apart. And before they fall apart and humanity goes completely bananas, Zen has to be spread wide around the whole earth. Before the old house falls down, you have to create a new house. And this time, don't commit the same mistake. You have been living in a house which was not there. Hence you were suffering rain, winter, sun, because the house was only in imagination. This time, really enter into your original home. Not any man-made temple, not any man-made religion. Enter into your own existence. Why be continuously a carbon copy? This time is very valuable. You are born in a very fortunate moment when the old has lost its evidence, its proof. When the old is simply hanging around you because you are not courageous enough to get out of the prison. Otherwise, doors are open. There have been never any doors. Because the house you are living in is completely imaginary. Your gods are imaginary, your priests are imaginary, your holy scriptures are imaginary. This time don't commit the same mistake. This time humanity has to take a quantum leap from the old rotten lies to the fresh, eternally fresh truth. This is the manifesto of Zen. The second question, D.T. Suzuki, the man who introduced Zen to the Western intelligentsia, has said Zen must be seized with bare hands, with no gloves on. Would you like to comment? His statement is rationally beautiful. You should seize Zen with your bare naked hands, with no gloves on. He is meaning by that you should enter into the world of Zen without any beliefs, without any security, without any safety, without any gloves, with naked hands, with nudity. You should enter into Zen. But his statement is still intellectual. He was not a man of Zen, neither a master of Zen. Because if he has been a master of Zen, he could not have said it. A master of Zen cannot say that Zen must be seized. It is not a question of seizing Zen. It is the old language of the mind of conquering nature. Now it becomes conquering Zen. Zen is your reality, whom you are going to seize, whom you are going to conquer. You are Zen. And what does he mean by with bare hands? Hands will not reach there. Bare or with gloves on. Hands symbolize the movement outwards. They always point towards the outward. All your senses open to the out. They are all extrovert. Your ears hear the sound that is coming from the outside. Your eyes see colors, light that are coming from the outside. Your hand goes on grabbing that is outside. Neither of your senses can reach to the inside. For the inside there is a different sensitivity, the third eye. There are no hands. Just between your two eyebrows, exactly in the middle, is exactly the place which can look inwards. When you are with closed eyes, trying to look inwards, rushing towards your center, you are hitting on the third eye continuously because it has not been open for centuries. It has forgotten to open. Hence, everyday meditation, and one day suddenly you will find the eye has opened. And the whole path is clean and clear. You have simply to walk to the center. No, there is no hands, and there is no question of conquering. It is your nature. The very idea that Zen must be seized creates a duality. You are the person who are going to see Zen, and Zen is something else than you. It creates a duality. That's what gives me a clear-cut idea whether the man is just intellectual or has the experience. I have my clear-cut criterions how to know that a man is talking only from mind. Howsoever clever D.T. Suzuki may be, I say unto you, he is not a master. He is still living in duality. Mind is dual. It always divides things into two polar opposites. The conqueror and the conquered. The observer and the observed. The object and the subject. The day and the night. It goes on dividing everything which are not divided. Neither the day is divided with the night, nor the birth is divided with death. They are one energy. But mind goes on dividing into everything into two polarities, opposites. Nothing is opposite in existence. Every contradiction is only apparent. Deep down, all contradictions are meeting together. So when somebody says, seize, conquer, he is still talking in the language of the mind and is still being violent. His words show it. Zen has to be not the object, nor the subject. It is a transcendental experience. Duality of all kinds is transcended. The observer and the observed become one. The knower and the known become one. So it is not a question of conquering or seizing. It is a question of relaxing into yourself. It is not a fight or a war. It is pure resting. Sinking in your rest deeply, and as you sink deeper and deeper, you find you are melting. The moment you come to oneness with existence, you have arrived to your nature. It can be possible only through relaxation, through rest. Suzuki's statement is rational but not existential, and Zen is the only existential approach in the whole world.